Hey, what's up YouTubers? It's Ryan Clark here from JIGMOD. This is actually my first YouTube video, so I'm pretty excited. I got a little circuit set up here, components laid out at least, and look forward to showing you guys how to make a couple LEDs turn on using the JIGMOD system. So I fastened my rocker switch module onto the platform using standoffs, and I'm going to also add this 3 AA battery module here and tighten that in just like this. So I'm just going to wire this module right in to the breadboard, power that positive rail there. And these AA batteries, the 3 of them, will crank out 4.5 volts, and you'll notice as soon as I apply this ground or provide this ground on that negative rail, these LEDs should light up here. So there we go. So this is a little voltmeter here. It was really cheap, and little things like that on eBay are always nice to have and experiment with. I'm going to wire this switch up to the positive rail that we just set up, but I'm not going to turn the switch on just yet. Okay, so we're all set up, and when I turn that switch on, this is actually going to read something around 4.5 to 5 volts. Boom. There we go. So these are fresh batteries, so we're getting about 4.8 volts here. And now I'm going to show you how to make some LEDs light up. Okay, so this is the rocker switch module, and it actually allows us to feed power to 2 separate circuits using this rocker switch. So this is pretty cool, and we are going to provide power to this module, but we can actually decide whether to send it to one pin or the other. So it's actually a 3-position switch with 2 separate circuits in it. So we're going to feed power to the center pin, and these side pins will each be connected to a separate LED that we can provide power to. So I'm going to go ahead, make sure these are tight, and then I'm just going to throw a couple standoffs in here and get them all lined up. Looking good. And after you get 3 standoffs in, you can usually get a bit of freedom to move around and then tighten everything down. So I'm going to power this switch from that positive rail that we set up, and then I'm going to get my LEDs hooked up to the ground rail before I connect them to the switch. So with LEDs, this longer lead, which I usually like to bend, is always the positive lead. The long lead is always the positive lead. So this is the lead here that I'm going to hook into the negative rail, just like that. And I don't know if everybody knows, but when you power up resistors, you're always going to want to have, or when you power up LEDs, sorry, you're always going to want to have some resistors in there, because they limit the current. And the tricky thing with LEDs is they have a max current that they can withstand, and they'll draw just as much current as they need to burn themselves out if you let them. So that's why the resistor is necessary. So I'm going to put in 1K resistor for each LED here. As soon as I get these set up, I can provide power to each LED individually. There we go. So my circuit's all ready to go. Hopefully it works. I haven't tried this yet, but I'm pretty sure it'll work. There we go. So we're providing power to one LED, and the other LED is burnt out. I'm going to find another LED, and we'll try and make this thing work. Okay, so I found another LED. I think this one should work, and I'm just going to pop that one out. Find the longest lead here. Hook the negative one, the shorter lead, into the negative ground rail, and there we go. We've got 2 LEDs lighting up. And one thing that I'm kind of curious about is that when I push the switch this way to the left, this LED on the right turns on. I'm just going to switch those around so it makes more sense for me. And there we go. So we're powering 2 LEDs with the rocker switch JIGMOD, and then we're also powering this voltmeter separately. The voltmeter has power, but we're using this on-off switch to control whether it gets power or not. So I hope you liked the video, and I look forward to posting more videos.